See this? This is a Rubik's Cube. It was invented in 1974 by this Hungarian dude who was a professor in architecture. And one day for his class, he wanted to solve the structural problem of moving parts independently without the entire mechanism breaking or something like that. So he slapped together some wooden blocks, glue and paper clips, and voila! It's the first Rubik's Cube. Kinda. It doesn't have colors. Let's fix that. Now it's actually a Rubik's Cube. The puzzle that would be super famous worldwide and would consume millions of people's precious time, and only through relentless practice and dedication would they be able to solve it, but...
No! God, please, no! No! No!
So obviously he couldn't solve it afterwards. This annoyed him a lot. So instead of getting checked for OCD, he spent 1 month trying to figure out a method to solve it. Honestly, by today's standards, that's not really that crazy, but in 1974, this was another level of unemployment, even though he was a professor. That's what makes this crazy. Anyway, so a couple of years later, Erno released it as a puzzle/toy by the name of Magic Cube, and it was an instant hit. Despite the fact that it was more of a hand workout than a puzzle, it was still very popular. And later it would be bought by Ideal Toys company and would get the name we all know today, Rubik's Cube. Though to the normal consumer, the Magic Cube was nothing more than a toy. There was a small community of people who were obsessed with solving the cube as fast as possible. Though I couldn't find much info about the early speedcubing scene, I was guessing that they had a boost in popularity in 1981 when the first ever speedcubing method, was invented. We can guess that Erno Rubik also took notice at the growing community of competitive speedcubing, and that was probably the main reason why Erno made the first World Championship. In 1982, the first ever Rubik's Cube World Championship was hosted in Budapest, Hungary, and there were 19 competitors. Why? So basically they won their own national championship to qualify for the World Championship. So I guess there was a competitive scene, but I couldn't really find much information on it. The 1982 Rubik's Cube World Championship was the first major speedcubing event and one of the few competitions to this day that have been broadcasted in live television. The first world champion was Min Tai with a time of 22.95 seconds. And after this, there was a steady rise in the popularity of speedcubing. In those days, competitions were all unofficial and with their own set of rules that vary for each competition. It wasn't until 2004 when the WCA, the governing body of speedcubing, was formed. But till then, there wasn't really that much that happened except for the invention of CFOP and the Second World Championship. It's worth noting that after the formation of the WCA, there was a World Championship every 2 years. But except that, nothing really that interesting happened between 1982 and 2009. So from 1974 to 2009 is what I call the development era. I really couldn't come up with a better name. In those days, we had a steady rise in cubing's popularity, but nothing really groundbreaking happened until 2009. Which I mark as the start of the Renaissance era of speedcubing, or as I like to call it, the era of Feliks Zemdegs. Feliks Zemdegs is widely considered the GOAT of speedcubing. Throughout his career, he has gotten 22 world records in 3x3. In total, he has 121 world records, 223 continental records, and 7 national records. And that's not all. He held the 3x3 average world record for over 7 years. That's not mentioning the fact that he has the most records ever on 5x5. His career started in 2009, where he went to his first competition and won with an average of 13.74 seconds, and casually broke 12 continental records and 4 regional records in his first competition, damn it. Then just a year after his first competition, he broke the 3x3 and 4x4 average world records, and after that he just kept breaking his own world record over and over again, while creating many legendary moments in cubing. I could talk about Feliks for hours, but if you want to learn more about him, check out this documentary, it's really cool. available, I'll link it in the description. Cubing hardware also started to improve around this time, with us seeing brands focusing solely on producing speed cubes. One of the most notable cubes of that time is the Dian Jianxi and the Dian Guhong. Back then, people sandpapered the pieces and used lubricants such as Vaselines and WD-40. But then in 2013, came in Moyu with their still ongoing Weilong series and the popular Oolong cubes. Feliks used the Oolong to break his record of 5.33, but it was invalid because of a corner twist. This brought a whole new wave of designs to prevent corner twisting, and the design of corners we still see today. Back then, the cubes didn't have magnets, but soon we saw magnets, adjustment features, this thing, why? There was also a big change in the WCA. In 2004, WCA had 13 events. These were 3x3, 4x4, 5x5, 3 blind, FMC, OH, Clock, Magic, Master Magic, 4 blind, 5 blind, and Pyramix, Megamix, Square 1. I said that in one breath. But in the Renaissance era, the WCA added 2x2, multi-blind, and Scube, while events such as Magic and Master Magic were discontinued. So I'm calling this era the era of Feliks Zemdegs. There were some other very notable cubers as well, such as Kevin Hayes, Mads Fogg, Ruihang Shu, Shane Huknyam, Drew Brads, Max Shaw, etc. This era was an important one for speedcubing, with better cubers, better competitions, it becoming really popular via social media, not to mention the fact that we got a whole Netflix documentary about Feliks and Max Park, who was the one to finally take Feliks's 3x3 average world record. But all good things must come to an end, and I've marked the end of this era to be the single most unexpected event in speedcubing. Let me set the scene. You're in China in a normal competition on a normal day. It's a regular competition with regular cubers just enjoying themselves. Nothing is out of the ordinary. But then you hear yelling, people screaming in shock and disbelief. You make your way towards the crowd and see a regular cuber by the name of Yu Shengdu has gotten the first ever solve that is under 4 seconds. I don't think you realize the sheer absurdity of this world record. Many of the top speed cubers don't even get 3-second solves at home. To get one in competition would require some insane luck. At the time, a lot of people thought it was fake, since the solve was uploaded in the Chinese version of WCA, not our version of the WCA. But nope, it was real. And this is the world record that I mark the start of the modern era of speedcubing.